Hi everyone and welcome back. This video is going to be a bit different from the usual, as I will be showing what I have been up to since the last video. That includes some Kshatriya progress too, but before that, let's unbox a few resin kits. So first thing on the menu is the Labzero Barbatos Lupus Rex conversion kit. I'll be quite brief with the unboxing as there are quite a few to go through, but I'll do a final video on each of these kits as always. This conversion kit is for the MG Barbatos. There are optional parts for a different set of shoulders and the weapons pack as well. The decal sheet looks very crisp and sharp, but they are just mostly generic warning ones. Next, with the weapons pack, you get a metal rod. This acts as a handle for the mace. There is also the option to use the resin one, but I would not recommend anyone using that as it is not strong enough to support a huge mace and it will likely break. The casting is very clean and design of parts is well thought out. But one thing I would say about this kit is there are a lot of tiny parts. A lot of these you can only glue and not pinned. Just look at the amount of fingers you get in this kit. So usually I would do a snap build review, but I don't think it's worth the hassle to do so for this kit. On top of that, the structural changes it has for the MG Barbatos means it is very flimsy without gluing, especially in the joints where you will need to thicken the joints to improve the friction. Speaking of changes, the manual shows the differences between this resin kit and the Full Mechanics Barbatos Lupus Rex. And it actually adds a lot of height and bulk to the MG Barbatos, so it doesn't really fit well into, say, a collection of IBO kits. The manual is very well made, but again, lots of small parts to keep track of. And at the end, you get a good amount of reference photos for painting, so that's very nice. Next up is a kit that doesn't even have a box. And you know kits like that either are total garbage or is a hidden gem. And this kit is the latter, which is the 1/60th scale Sentinel RX-78-1 Full Armor Gundam by iLive Studio. As far as I know, the original design was shown in a C3 hobby show, where the cast of that kit was also sold. So it was originally 1/100th scale, and I believe this company iLive basically 3D scanned it and reprinted it in 1/60th scale. It comes with some photo etch parts and a stand, which is surprising. Again, the details are pretty clean, and weirdly, the resin is somewhat more airy than usual. What I mean by that is when I was drilling the parts, they felt slightly easier to drill. It is like the resin isn't as dense as usual. But yeah, this kit has no articulation, and it doesn't even have any meaningful movement. It is designed to be in one pose, and for that I'm so happy for. As you know, I'm not a big fan of fully articulated big kits, because they usually mean the kit would collapse if you sneeze. So with a fixed pose kit, you just need to pin most of the big parts together, and it will stay very solid. Here is how it looks, semi-assembled. I love how boxy the kit looks, and you guys know I love bulky kits. And although I didn't film the assembly, it was just very pleasant, mostly because there aren't many parts and the parts are quite big, so there was a lot of room to pin and whatnot. I haven't put the hands up with the weapons as they will need glue to properly secure. The only two downsides I have with this is the manual is not very intuitive and is only available online, so you will have to request it from iLive. The second one is the bazooka doesn't actually slot into anything, so it just sits on top of the shoulder with a good chance of sliding around. And here I show some of the parts that I pinned. So the kit is able to more or less stand without any glue already, just proving again how solid it is. And the final course on the menu comes with a golden box. And this is the 1/72nd scale Magnapalce Knight of Gold, or do people call it KOG? I'm not deep into the lore unfortunately, so what I'm deep into though is the look of the kit. I'm a big fan of a lot of the Gothic made suits, and I guess you just got to have the Knight of Gold at some point. This cast is made by GHS, which I have been following for a while now. They initially caught my attention with their redesign of the G-System DO, but I had already bought and done mine at that point. They have a great reputation of recasting all the 5-star stories and Gothic made kits with great quality, and I really like that even in the packaging you can tell they mean business, with a card on each back stating it's been inspected, and the casting quality is so clean that I doubt I would need to do much cleaning. What I really like as well is they will also do most of the rescribing as well, something I remember having to do a lot in the last kit by MGEX Studio. Looking into the manual, you can see the original kit actually came with a lot of clear parts. It is because there's an option to paint this kit with a transparent gold paint to make the armor look translucent. I know Mr. Color and Born Paint have them, but for me and the client, I'll just be doing a normal gold instead. By the way, if you're not familiar with 5-star stories, the designer also designed suits for Zeta Gundam series, so it's actually quite amusing to see Nagano basically imported the Knight of Gold into Gundam form, which is the Yakushiki. So that's it for the unboxing. Let's do some progress on the Kshatriya. First thing I wanted to work out before getting too deep into the project was making an action base. It is basically a must with something that big and top heavy. So I got this 6mm steel rod that I can drill and insert into the bottom. For the base, I just so happened to have this shelf from IKEA. I even drew a rough guide to include the emblem in the base, and the emblem was printed by my friend Andrew, and it will look awesome when painted. So yeah, just a simple drill and install, but beware that this particular shelf actually has a lot of empty space inside, so I actually had to put a screw at the bottom to stabilize it. Next thing I wanted to improve on was the energy cables. The ones included in the kit just look toyish and plain, so I bought these gold ones from MGEX Studio. They are originally meant for the Senanju, and man, they cost a lot actually, around £15 or I think $18 for just this amount. But you can see they look so much better. The majority of the work needed is just smoothing out the texture on the kit. I'm not sure if you can see, but this grainy texture is not smooth at all, so it needed to be filled with glue and sanded smooth. You can see it a little bit clearer here, just how grainy it is. Here I am rescribing some shallow lines. And the most important fix to me was to cover up the metal beam going across the body. This empty space would have been where the inner frame would be, but there's not a lot of inner frame used in this kit. So I just did something really simple by putting putty to fill in the gap and trying to get it as smooth and as flat as possible. After it is cured, I filled and sanded the parts to make them smooth, and then this is what it looks like unpainted. Next on the to-do list is the back shoulders. These parts in the G-System kit had some photo etch parts to make some air fence looking grills, but again they weren't provided in the cold cast version. So it's time to add some pla plates. Here I mark the grill lines, and then just scribe the lines out with tape and scribers. And this is how it looks afterwards. So I didn't film much of the painting and details, but I will show more in the next video. But I spent some time adding more details to the kit, as the original G-System kit had metal edge parts for these slots, but they weren't provided by Callcast, so I had to be a bit creative. But yeah, this is how it looks so far. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out. I've basically gone for a more Saku-like colors instead of the rich green that you see in the anime. And all these metal parts were added by me and not included in the kit, which is one big downside of this kit, because a lot of the metal parts are not provided. You get a lot of empty spaces, so you kind of have to either fill in the spaces or just add some metal details yourself. But hope you have enjoyed the video. I will make a final video when the whole kit is finished, so that will be a while, but do look forward to it. The next video will be the snap building of the 1/100th Cycle Gundam, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.